An entitled mother insists that I share my Nintendo Switch with her child on my flight. The scene is a Southwest airline flight. I was sitting in a window seat next to two lovely women, and directly horizontal from us was an empty seat, a mom and her son. The flight was taking off. For those who don't know, you are required to stay seated and keep your seatbelts on for the beginning of the flight, until the captain says otherwise. I was strapped in my seat and decided to take out my Nintendo Switch from my carry-on beneath my feet. "Excuse me, ma'am?" I didn't realize at first that the mother in the seats horizontal from me was trying to get my attention. She unbuckled her belt and moved to the empty seat by the aisle closer to me. "Ma'am, with the video game?" I lifted my head, but the stranger next to me nudged me as well. "That lady wants to get your attention?" The woman next to me muttered. I turned my head to see this woman leaning across the aisle, with her hands on the armrest of the aisle seat in my row. "Sorry," she began. "I just wanted to know if there was any way that my son could use that game for a little while." "I'm so sorry," I began. "My Nintendo Switch is just really important to me. I don't feel comfortable giving it to anyone I don't know. I don't even let my sisters play with it." I was going to continue, but the woman cut me off. "Oh, my son's not like most kids," she replied. "He's not destructive. His cousin has one of those, and he knows how to play." She smiled and set her hand out. The two women seated next to me looked at me, as if they were also in disbelief. "I'm sorry," I said again. "I just don't feel comfortable. I brought it for me." "How old are you?" the woman said with a huff, retracting her hand and slapping it on her lap. "I'm 25, but I don't see how that matters," I replied, growing exceptionally uncomfortable. "Well," she began, clearly sounding agitated, "my son is 8. This is an hour and 45-minute flight, and he just wants something to do. He can't see it for a few minutes?" "No, I am not comfortable with that. I'm sorry, but I'm expecting you to understand since this is my property." I put my head down and I unpaused my game as to ignore anything she had further to say. "Are you serious?" She seemed genuinely livid. "Well, insert child's name here." "Sorry, buddy. Not everyone knows how to share," the woman said to the kid next to her. Her child started whining and kicking the seat in front of him. "Thanks for this," she said to me. "A sweet kid just wants to share with you, and you're being ignorant about it." Before I even opened my mouth, one of the ladies in my row snapped back at her. "How dare you bring that energy on this plane? She told you so kindly that she doesn't feel comfortable with passing her electronics to a stranger." The mother wasn't having it. "She's an adult and can't share with a child for a few minutes of a nearly 2-hour flight." "You should have brought something for him to do then," the woman in my row responded. It shut her up good. At the end of the flight, the woman collected her luggage from the overhead bins and said, "I hope you're happy going against God's word, not sharing with a child." Some of the people around us giggled. I'm sure that they all overheard the drama at the beginning of the flight. I've come across some entitled people in my life, but this strange lady took the cake. Story 2, ED is upset when I won't let his son play with my daughter's heart monitor. When my oldest daughter was born, she had some significant heart problems, NICU for a while, and then at 10 weeks old, she developed supraventricular tachycardia, which basically means that her heart would beat excessively for no reason at all. She was in pediatric ICU for 2 weeks, after nearly dying from organ failure. She's fine now. This particular incident happened about a week after she was released from ICU. She'd been sent home with a portable heart monitor. We went to the cardiologist once a week for the batteries on the monitor to be changed and the readings to be checked. On this day, we were sitting in the waiting room at the pediatric cardiology office. Wait times were insane here. There are only 2 doctors for the entire region, and it wasn't unusual to wait 30 minutes or longer for an appointment. Entitled Dad and Bratty Kid were the only other ones there. But here we are, in the waiting room. My daughter is asleep in her car seat carrier, and I'm lightly half dozing. Something touched my knee. I look down, and Bratty Kid is there.
Me. Hi, BK. Is that a real baby? Me. Laughing. Yes, it is. BK. Is it a boy? My daughter was dressed in a yellow sleeper with pink strawberries on it. Lacy pink socks, pink hat. Me. No, it's a girl. BK. What's that? He's pointing to the heart monitor. Me. That's to make sure her heart is beating right. BK. Can I play with it? Me. No. Sorry, it's not a toy. BK. I'm bored. I looked across the room and the dad is flat out asleep. He's actually snoring. Me. Why don't you go talk to your dad then? At this moment, I'm called up to the insurance desk to fill out another form. BK had gone back to his dad, so I left my baby there as I was only about 4 feet away. I turned to go sit down, and ED is awake and walking toward me. ED, do you have a toy my son can play with? Me. Nope. Sorry. Ed. He says you do. Give it to him. Me. I don't. Ed. I need a nap. Just give him the toy so I can go back to sleep. Me. There is no toy. You should have brought one for him if you wanted to sleep so bad. If looks could kill. He went back to his side of the room and I sit down. About another 10 minutes pass. Daughter is awake now and hungry. I'm digging through the diaper bag. As a first-time mom with a child in and out of the hospital, I hadn't had the time or energy to develop a system for the bag yet, so it took me a minute. By the time I'd found what I needed, my daughter was screaming and so was her heart monitor, the cords of which are in BK's hand. The loud beeps from the disconnected monitor wake up ED. ED shoots out of his chair. Ed, the fuck is that? I don't even get time to answer before a nurse rushes out to us. She drops to the floor to check my daughter. Meanwhile, I snatch the heart monitor from BK's hand. BK, that's mine. Give it back. E. Why are you taking his toys from him? Me. Go back to sleep. It's all you seem to be good for. He grabs my arm and yanks the monitor from me to give it back to the kid, who promptly drops it. Nurse, picking up the monitor. You need to leave now. This is sensitive medical equipment. If it's damaged, we're billing you for it. ED, you have no right to talk to me like that. Do you know who I am? Nurse, you're the guy who's about to get arrested if you don't leave now. On his way out, he screamed profanities at about me, the nurse, and the clinic. His wife, who'd been in the back with the doctor, was told he was banned from that clinic and was handed a bill for the cost of the monitor. A few weeks later, during another appointment, the nurse told me he'd sued the clinic for emotional trauma. It was dropped when the clinic countersued for the cost of the monitor.
Story 3. Entitled Dad Breaks My Leg Because I Continuously Blocked His Son from Scoring. We had a volleyball tournament. For reference, I'm a middle blocker, 6'5", and a vert of 70 cm. Game starts and everything goes good. Eventually, Entitled Dad's kid gets subbed in because his team wasn't scoring, and apparently he's a star player. I blocked every hit he went for, and his dad started to get visibly angry, starting to shout at me and stuff as well. After the game ended, we won, and I blocked nearly every shot from this guy. The entitled dad came to me asking what my problem is and stuff. I said, "Sorry, man, it's my job." He started laughing and stomped on my shin. It's broken, and I'm currently in hospital writing this story, and the dad should hopefully end up in jail. Also planning on suing for permanent damages. Doctor says I may not be able to play volleyball ever again, and I got a college offer.